So looking at and just kind of digging in there just a little bit more, whom is my heart leaning or leading?
Leaning. Who's your heart leaning toward?
Who's my heart leaning towards? I would imagine that, typically, and you can speak to your experience with, working with other pastors and leaders. Our heart is typically going to line up with our giftings, our strengths, our weaknesses, our heart, and where the Lord is sort of pushing us towards is they're typically going to line up, right?
I think so. Because I think where especially our strengths, that's where we find the greatest fulfillment. At least I do.
Yeah.
It's in the areas of my challenges that I don't just get up in the morning and say, "Man, I want to spend all day on those."
Yeah.
So I think our heart it leans toward that. Yeah.
Yeah. One is a drain to you, an energy and an emotional drain to you, and then one may be hard work, but it fills you and leaves you full of energy at the end of the day.
That's right.
And I think the Lord designed us, He knows the beginning from the end. He designed us that way so that we can lean into our strengths and do tremendous things through Him and still have energy at the end of the day. I think that's a good thing. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't do hard things that are against our grain that the Lord empowers us to do. They're supernatural things, but typically, I would say a good percentage of our life would really need to lean into those strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, I think you're right on with that, because whereas I think there are seasons, I don't think we ever graduate from being one who serves in the kingdom of God, in the church. That's got to be part of the integrity of our character. However, I think that there are seasons in our life that, if I can use this term, it's all hands on deck as far as what we do. We do the things that we enjoy and we do the things that we don't enjoy because of necessity. I know for as a church planter, and that's my context, over the years, I've done things that I truly found great satisfaction in. And then as a church planter, because we didn't have people to help with those things, I did those things that I didn't enjoy as well. But I think that it's important as a leader grows and the church grows and ministry grows and your environment of growth happens, that you don't stagnate and you don't learn to lean into perhaps truly how God has wired you and then bring other people around you to help in those areas of challenges. So I think it's a little nuance there. I don't think it's, right to just lean into your strengths and wrong. I think it's a little nuanced, and I think even some of it has to do with life as well.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. So when you identify areas and recognize areas that you need to grow in, that you have a desire to increase your capacity because you feel the Lord pushing you in your heart is leaning in a certain direction, what's the most effective ways to keep learning and keep expanding our leadership ability?
Well, I think you said it right there. The first thing I'll mention is we've got to commit to keep learning, and we've got to keep implementing fresh ideas, sharpening the blade, so to speak, on our leadership. And so one of the things that I try to have in my life is I ask questions like, Tim, what book are you reading right now? And I know that you're just a wonderful example of this, Ryan. What are you reading to grow your area of ministry? And it may be a new book. It may be an old book. It might be on an ebook. It might be, you might be old fashioned like me. You actually like to hold a book in your hand. But what are you reading? And where does God have you in your leadership right now? What is a resource that you can learn more about in the area?
You're telling me that you haven't arrived? I mean,
well, that's a great statement. No, sir. No, sir. Yeah.
You got to keep learning.
You have to keep learning. And I think one of the greatest dangers in leadership, in Christian leadership, is sometimes success.
Yeah.
Because success, if we're not careful, can provide us with this, I finally arrived, sufficiency, resource,
So true.
and that's a good thing. Thank God for that. But that's not the kingdom. The kingdom is an ever increasing kingdom. It is something, in fact, Isaiah 9:6 says this, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. So as long as we're in kingdom leadership, we're in an environment that never ends. The growth never ends. And so the leaders need to embody that as well. And